Hey guys, today is dyno day. Finally going to get this 2001 Mustang GT to the dyno and see what it can do. Everybody knows that in this era these cars were not high horsepower cars, alright? That's obvious. You know, these things were only rated 260 at the crank coming out of the factory, so I think most of these that I've seen in stock form are dynoing around 220, 223 at the wheels, somewhere in that ballpark. So again, obviously these are not high horsepower cars, but these things had a couple of things going for them. Number one is weight. Most of these cars are 3,400 pounds, which is a few hundred, if not several hundred pounds less than the new stock cars coming out today from Ford, GM, and Dodge. So there's a weight advantage with these cars. And gearing, you know, these came with 327 gears. This one's got 373s in it. A lot of guys did that, or 410s. Pretty easy to do gear swaps on these. Whereas your Dodge cars are coming out with 307s. You know, and I think the Camaros use a pretty tall gear ratio. And with the new IRS and these cars that are coming out now, it's harder to do gear swaps. So a lot of guys are just not doing that. So, you know, with the gear advantage and the weight advantage, these cars can be respectable cars. You know, they're still not going to be lightning quick, but what we're going to do today is take this one to the dyno, put it on the roller, see where it's at, and see if we can squeeze anything else out of it. This one's got your typical bolt-on mods, intake, exhaust, underdrive pulleys, you know, gears, that kind of stuff. And we're just going to see where it's at and see if we can get anything else out of it. So stick around and we'll see how it goes, all right? Alright guys, here we are in Shelbyville, Kentucky at Blankenship Tuning and Performance. This guy is a very reputable tuner in the area. He's done all my friends' cars. He used to be a Ford certified master technician for many years, and then he decided to start focusing on tuning and performance for Ford vehicles. So haven't heard a bad thing about him. He always does really good work, and we're going to let him put the car on the rollers and see what she'll do. All right, getting her all hooked up here and getting ready to stick her back on the rollers. Alright guys, so that was a lot of fun. That was the first time that I've ever had one of my cars on the dyno, and that was just a whole lot of fun seeing how they do that and how it all works and everything, and all the cool Mustangs they had sitting around the shop. That was really neat. And so here's the results that I got. And again, these cars normally 220 to 225 at the rear wheels, and with my bolt-on mods, my final numbers corrected for the weather turned out to be 260 horsepower. There we go, 260 horsepower, 299 on the torque that's at the rear wheels. So with this car being an automatic 4R70 car, if you throw in the 17% roughly is what they figure for the parasitic loss, that puts this car somewhere in the neighborhood of 305 horse at the crank and about 350 pounds-feet of torque at the crank. So I gained about 40 horsepower roughly and about 50 pounds-feet of torque over stock. Okay. The other cool thing is you can see how the torque there peaks. What is that, roughly about 4250 or so, but it does make a good amount of torque through the mid-range. The horsepower peaks and then holds pretty steady all the way through roughly 5800 RPM. So this car does make a pretty smooth graph here. And again, you know, for a 16-year-old car that's got 120,000 miles on it, all original engine, original transmission, these numbers are pretty decent, I think. And to be honest, I'm kind of surprised at just how much the car picked up with nothing but bolt-on mods. You know, again, this car just has underdrive pulleys, intake, exhaust, 373 gears, and now the tune, custom dyno tune, is pretty much the only thing on this car. And that was 89 octane pump gas too. That wasn't even premium. So to make over 300 horsepower at the crank, that makes me really happy. And makes me feel pretty good about the car. Not only that, but when you put your car on the dyno, you can make sure that all your ratios look good for your air and your fuel, and you know, just all your parameters, you can check them out and see what's going on in real time, rather than trusting that the mail order tune that you bought is in fact okay. So bottom line is I'm happy with it, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to drive it for a while this spring and this summer and enjoy it, and then maybe we'll do some more mods to it this fall and see if we can pick up a little bit more. All right, guys, thanks for watching.